Alrighty, welcome back to another video. It is Christmas right now, or I believe it's Boxing Day. And well, with Boxing Day, we do have a boxing feast right here. It is the Hero Coach. It is back for 2 to 3 days. You're able to use one of your heroes, pay a certain amount of gems, and you get them fully upgraded to the maximum level that they have, plus the amount of limit breaks, all the way up to alpha limit broken. So for example, if you were to pick one random ass hero right here, let me just pick one that is like the lowest one. Where my lowest one here? Where? If you pick one of these lowest one, like Fermin Richard right here, you will see that you need to pay 1,000 gems and you get Fermin Richards at 480 with double limit break. You can see here, this is the full stats. This is his poor ass stats. And now you get this guy right here. So I think there are a lot of videos out here right now talking about, which hero you want to use for hero coach, which hero you want to, which one are ranked, the best in using hero coaches. I'm not going to bore you guys with that. I'm just going to talk about who I'm going to use for my own hero coach. And I'll talk a little bit about it, right? So obviously with the hero coach, there are certain heroes that you can use, that you can only use for hero coach, which are legendary heroes that have been released more than 730 days before the release of this event, which means you cannot use it on the latest heroes, and you cannot use on any hero that has been out in the past 2 years, which kind of sucks, honestly. But in a good way, there are certain ways that you can work around this in order for you to use the hero that is the most relevant in the current state of things. These heroes only are the heroes that are considered here for hero coach are those heroes that are of the regular side, not the costume side. So even if the costume came out very recently, you still can use the hero coach for the regular side, and then you just level up the costumes. One very, 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 very good example for this would be, now if I can just change this hero, is Aramis. So, the hell. So if you use Aramis right here, you see you can use Aramis to double limit break him, and then you just work on the costume, and now you have Aramis. If you have the costume, of course. If you don't have the costume, well, wait for the next AQ and start using them gems to get them costumes. Okay, I should really say, before I go on, I would just like to make a public announcement. Please do not overspend with how the game has been. Every day there's a new fucking hero that comes out. So if you spend like hell to get one hero on day 1, by day 7 that hero is going to be obsolete, because there would have been 7 to 8 new heroes that would have came out by then. So sucks to be everybody. So anyways, there are certain heroes obviously that would be the best to use in these kind of situations, and I'm going to just use my roster for the example here. So if you look at my roster, okay, so I'm gonna move on to let's just use this portion here. I should have prepared like way ahead, but I got busy with work. Even though it's Christmas and Boxing Day, I still have to work, so sucks to be me. So there are some heroes here that I would say are one of the best to use, and it has never changed since Hero Coach has came out. Oni Wakamaru being one of the number one, I think right now the number one hero to use for Hero Coach. If you do not have Oni Wakamaru maxed, I think he is still the number one hero that I would consider for hero coaching, especially if you don't want to spend like the alpha ethers on him, you don't want to spend scopes, you don't want to spend too much on ethers and stuff like that to get him maxed. The only thing you need to spend on is probably the master emblems and the emblems itself, because they only bring you up to 490 and not emblems. I remember like the previous hero coach, I was talking blah 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 about me saying that it'll come with the emblems as well, but no, they ain't coming with emblems. They're not so generous, hashtag please work on that SG. But anyways, Yeah, I would say Oniwakamaru would be one of the would be number one still, regardless of how long it has been. Lord Loki being the second one, and then the third one, right now, are the season 5 healers if you have the costume. So one of it is Hathor. The other one is this annoying prick of a pyramid sphinx. Did I just say pyramid? I mean sphinx. Where's his ass? Oh, where's her ass? Where is it? Yep. Hetaferes and Cleopatra. Like, these three are absolute demons in terms of supports that you can use even till this date. Like, I still use Hathor even though the previous stream I kind of failed in that war attack with Hathor, but anyways, that's just me. I have skill issues, but you can use Hathor for wars, even current wars right now. 1549 hero power is still pretty decent. Hetaferes as well, it's still a bitch when it comes to, using her in wars, because she gives defense against nature, which means she's good against Teffer, and if she's and apart from that, she also gives negative accuracy, which means people ain't hitting you that much. And then Cleopatra as well. Now Cleopatra is, I would say, a very, now that Bernadette is slowly moving away from regular wars, not rush wars, I think Cleopatra's value has gone up quite a bit. A defense, immunity to new status ailments, and you get to recover health every time a status ailment is attempted on the hero, on your heroes, and a huge heal. I think at max she gets like, I think probably 60% heal, I think, to everyone. 60 to 65%. And if you have the costume is amazing. I mean, if you look at no, I don't have the costume, so I can't show it. Yeah, so I believe it's not guaranteed, but it's you get 3 times activation. You get to boost your health by 10%, and it cleanses the latest cleansable status ailment, which means it's so damn good if it procs 3 times. So not only does she give protection against future status ailments, you actually get a chance to cleanse status ailments that are already on your heroes. So that's really, really strong. And Hetaferes is more, I think it's the same thing. Yeah, it's the fucking same thing. And she gets it's a guaranteed to activate on her. So that's, I mean, yeah. So Hetaferes, Cleopatra, and Hathor, I would consider them to be like number 3 right now, in terms of like where, if you don't have them, you might as well just do them. You might as well just work on them. And then the ones after that would be, very situational. It depends on who you have and who you want to, that fits in your war teams. Now, the one thing that I want to say, if you're not someone who's just using Hero Coach just for the sake of collection or filling up your museum, then you should look at whichever heroes that would fit in your war teams. And there are quite a bit of heroes which I even have that would fit very well in certain one of my war teams. I will get to them from my point of view. But there are others as well. I mean, it's not so much just to focus on, like, for example, season 1 heroes. Like, for example, if you have like the costume, the glass, the tune, the first costume, the second costume, and now you're waiting just for the noble costumes or whatever the hell that's coming out after this. Yeah, you don't necessarily need to use them, because the season 1 tune and glass heroes are not to say the best. They're functional for sure, but they're not really the best. But there are some others right now in the current market that you can actually use, just to make sure that you have someone that could work very well in the current meta. One of the examples is Aramis. If you have Aramis costume is amazing, as I've mentioned earlier in this video. There is a debate to use it on either Cao Cao, Zhuge Liang, Liu Bei, or Sun Quan. If you're having difficulty, and Diao Chan, because I don't have Diao Chan here, right? And if you're having difficulty in the Hero League, I think, you can use them to help you survive Hero League. Now, outside of that, they're pretty shitty in war right now. They're not the best. I wouldn't say they are the best. Still functional, but I don't use them, and I don't know many people who use them, so I don't think they are all, the gas that you can use in wars. But if you're at a certain level of wars where the journey heroes, the kingdom heroes for this family, like Cao Cao, Zhuge Liang, Liu Bei, Sun Quan, Lu Bu, Diao Chan, Zhang Fei. Wow, I can't believe I know all of them. So they are pretty okay to use, especially like for a person like me. I've gotten Zhuge Liang and Cao Cao pretty late into the when the meta has pretty much gone through them. They're not even, I don't even see them in my current wars. Yeah, I might consider using it, just to have an additional. I mean, Zhuge Liang and Cao Cao are still really strong in rush wars. But yeah, I have better heroes for rush wars, so I'm not considering them. But if you are, having these as options, they are still actually pretty good. And then there are others as well. I think the Untold Tales 1 heroes, like for example Gestalt. Gestalt is interesting. Yeah, you can use Gestalt here. There is an option for Fermin Richard as well, just because of the stack. You can use him to upgrade your Titan teams as well. That is obviously one option. And then the Magic Tower heroes like Vaishali, Milena, I believe Julius as well is potentially the latest one that can be hero coached, so that you only need to focus on the costume. The whole idea about spending these 1,000 gems is to make sure that you are able to skip the whole phase of like having to level the regular side, so that you can immediately try to use them in war as well. So I think Julius is one of the very, very good options as well. Julius costume, if you have Julius costume, he is amazing in wars. And I unfortunately I don't have Julius, so I can't explain why. But just know that any minions that give you additional mana, and not just mana generation, it gives you additional mana, means that technically speaking, you don't really need to make that many matches in that particular color. You can just depend on Julius, which is amazing. And if you ever get the fiends on the opponent, let's just say again, you get the steal mana again, which is amazing. So yeah, that is one of those options here. So I think there are plenty of options that you can use for Hero Coach, and that's the reason why they give you 3 days. It's for you not to pull the trigger on the very first minute when they first come out. Take your time, have a look at your war teams, figure out which one you wanna work on, and work from there. So I want to show you guys my thoughts on what I would consider. Now I have a pretty okay roster. My roster is not the best, it's not the worst, but it's able to hang around in the top 5, top 10 alliances. I'm able to produce 6 strong teams against the number 1 alliance in the game. Let's put it that way. It's not to say that my roster is very deep, but I have enough heroes to produce 6 strong war teams against the top alliance in the game. Saying that, there are also ways that I can improve certain, war teams that I have. And one of it is something like this. So I have been using Vernix together, not with Zengar, but together with Skarn, which is the latest old construct hero to come out. Now, obviously, Skarn has seen better days. 1431 right now is pretty much a shitty hero stat to use in like the top level wars. So one of the best ways to potentially upgrade is to use Zengar, which is, so the regular side of Zengar is hero coachable, and then I can just need to work on the costumes. I just need to slap emblems on him, and I have someone that will give frost damage at fast speed to then trigger Vernix's enhanced ability. So this is one that I'm considering. It's not something I remember when Zengar first came out, everybody thought he was a piece of shit, and I gotta admit, Zengar sucks. The costume, however, if you look at some of the top level players, you can see them. I think MKM is one of them from Gypsy Danger, who uses Zengar together with Vernix. There are others as well. You just need to figure out which one would complement the heroes that you have right now. Now, if you have Vernix, for example, and you want to make sure that every single time you get to proc Vernix at his enhanced ability. If any enemy has the Frost status ailment already, not from Vernix itself. Obviously, if you have two Vernixes, then fuck that shit, okay? But if you have Vernix already, and you only have one, and you want to figure out which heroes would complement her best, I mean, if you have Glacy Vault, sure, the new construct, sure, go ahead. But then if you don't have that, there are other options as well. Zengar is one of them. Costume Pengi is one of them. Skarn is one of them. I believe there's like Victor, I want to say, from the Gargoyles. So if you don't have Glacy Vault, I think the second most recent hero that has, viable stats right now to be able to hang in, top level wars, or, to hang together with Vernix and to make sure that he has enough stats to keep him alive, is Zengar. The costume side. Because the costume side deals a shitload of damage up front, which is way more than whatever nonsense he's dealing here. And even though he has the restriction of having fire, needing, for the most efficient way is to target someone with fire element, you gotta look at the current meta, right? Salome is still one of the top meta rates that you can use on defense. And then there are others as well. There's Salome, there's Li Kui, there's Saris, there's Bernadette, there's and then now that's new construct Sizzle-Matic. I mean, Sizzle-Matic is slow, but his stats are so relevant that I wouldn't be surprised to see people slap on Sizzle-Matic to just be the tank, and as a replacement to Bernadette. Because let's just say if you don't have a Dispeller and you let Sizzle-Matic fire, you are not putting ailments on anyone. So Zengar would be an interesting option here, and it's one of the things that I would consider here. Now, again, I'm talking about this from my point of view, from how I would want to create my teams, and this is an example of how to do it. So if I have Zengar, Vernix is fast speed, Riverfang is fast speed, so I can pair all three of them and go off in 8 tiles. 7 if I have Regrim, Regrim fired when everyone has the mana ailment, and then suddenly all of a sudden they get the mana generation, all of a sudden they get to fire in 6 or 7 tiles. So this is the type of synergy that I'm looking at. The second option that I can consider here is to just max my Oniwakamaru up, because I don't want to spend Alpha Eaters to get him up to 90. But that would only push him to about 1,100 something hero power, and there are certain things now that I still find using Oniwakamaru at 485 still pretty okay. I'm only using him as the one-time meat shield. Like, if he gets to tank one Teffer hit, I'm happy, and then I get to have Bernadette to fire. Now, this team has been sort of like a team that I haven't been using in a long time, just because there are too many morphs that I'm facing against, and it's pretty hard to use this team when you're going against a lot of morphs. So that's why I've stopped using this pretty much. But Oniwakamaru still, as I mentioned before, remains one of the best heroes to use, especially if you need someone to defend against Bernadette. You want someone to give you that extra early protection against any hero that would impact the rest of your team. So the reason why I'm using Oniwakamaru here is so that if I can get Chitrangada to fire as well, which is just one extra tile, one extra match after Oniwakamaru, I can fire Chitrangada. If Oniwakamaru comes back, I have an engine going. Do I need him at double limit break? Possibly, if things goes, to a point where power creep is slowly moving up to the point where he gets killed by slash attacks, I may consider. So this is another hero that I'm considering here. And the third one that I'm considering is actually a Season 1 hero, which is Isarnia. Now, usually I would have this team together with Grimsteel. I realize right now I don't necessarily need Grimsteel for one very important fact. I'm facing too many defenses with Ransack abilities, like Lane and Duval. And next month, they are likely to release the Scoundrel Portal, which means there will be more heroes that will be ransacking your attack teams, which means growth isn't as highly potential. It's not something that you would want to consider in the long run, because they will be able to steal your growth, and that's going to be a big problem. So I've switched it out instead to using Saris to give them Wither instead. Have Ixin to give them more Wither in terms of their attack, And then instead, I want to introduce someone that will have a much more heavier impact. I thought about using, a support hero or a blue hero that, that deals a bit more damage. And the only one I have right now in my roster is Isarnia. So maybe that will be an option. So I have Isarnia right now at 370, which means if I put her on the hero coach, I'm able to get her up to 490. And then I just need to spend a little bit of materials to get the glass costume to 490. So that's one option that I'm considering as well. So like I said, the hero coach would be best used to determine which one of your attack teams would benefit the most from the hero that you are using for coach. If you're not using the hero coach for simply filling up your museum, then I think you can do something like what I'm doing right now. Arrange your teams and figure out which one would benefit the best. So I have 3 options here. My 4th option is actually for Hetepheres, one that I've talked about. I just haven't found a good team for Hetepheres right now. And the 5th option that I'm considering is to have the third Aramis. So I'm not sure if I shown it before. I have 2 Aramises right now, and so the third one that I have a third copy somewhere here. If I can pull it out, where the hell is it? Where's the third copy? Oh my god, I'm so blind. Okay, here you go. Yeah, so I can consider having the third copy of Aramis maxed, and Aramis is pretty good. I mean, the costume makes him functional and very useful in any type of wars. Even without his ability firing, his musketeer, the family passive is actually really, really strong, as well as his damage on special skill and the cover damage. Yeah. When this character receives damage from special skills, there's a 60% chance to deal 20% of the received damage to all enemies. That can be a very hidden, kind of like dangerous passive, because if you're not careful with that and you just keep targeting him with high damage spells, high damage special skills, pretty much your team gets wiped. so yeah, that is an option. So I have 5 options here. Now I'm not going to make a decision straight off the bat. I'm just recording this video just for explanation purposes. I will not be using my hero coach right now. I have some time to decide which one I want to use it for, but I can tell you my top 5 options: Zengar being one of them, Isarnia, using it for Oni Wakamaru, Hetepheres, and then Aramis. So these are my 5 options here, and I hope you guys do the same thing. Make sure your war teams are as how they would be, see how you want to upgrade them, and then make your decision for hero coach. I'll catch you guys on the next video. GG.